The 1970s is remembered as the decade of disco and bell-bottoms, yet the 70s was also a period of immense technological innovation, and many of the advances made in plastics manufacturing influenced the development of a wealth of iconic toys. While the debate rages on regarding which decade truly represents the golden age of toys, you can't deny that the 1970s definitely needs to be a part of the conversation. With classic action figure lines such as G.I. Joe's Adventure Team, The $6 Million Man, and of course Kenner's Star Wars, it's easy to see why. Yet it's these popular franchises that garner the majority of retrospective praise, with countless other imaginative toys from that decade being too often forgotten. So in this video, I'd like to shine the spotlight on a few unsung toy heroes from the decade of disco, by celebrating some of these bygone childhood gems. Stay tuned.
Come with me, toy fans.
Now before we get started, I'd like to make something clear. This is not a definitive list of all the forgotten toys from that decade, nor are they ranked in any kind of order. So if you can think of other 70s toys that would fit in well with this video, leave us a comment in the section below and perhaps we'll include them in a follow-up feature. Now let's take a look at Pulsar from the Mattel Toy Company. In 1975, Kenner had a retail smash hit with their $6 Million Man toy line, so many other companies decided to start competing for the new bionic section of the toy market, with Hasbro introducing Mike Power Atomic Man to their popular G.I. Joe range. Whereas Mattel's largely forgotten answer to Steve Austin arrived in 1976, when they released Pulsar, the Ultimate Man of Adventure. The Pulsar action figure was a little taller than the $6 Million Man, and instead of bionic parts, he had a button on his back that pumped blood around his organs. Mattel would later reuse this play feature when they created Mosquito for the Masters of the Universe line, and while this feature does look cool, it's nowhere near as exciting as the bionic gimmicks offered by Kenner. In addition to Pulsar's exposed organs, his face hinges upward to expose his brain, where you could insert a mission disc. And this is another play feature on the figure that didn't really do anything, other than making the discs really easy to lose and allowing you to pretend to program him. Unfortunately for Mattel, the Pulsar action figure failed to capture the imagination of children, and he only remained at retail for 2 short years. Yet before he became a forgotten toy, we did receive the Life System Center playset for energizing and programming Pulsar, and a really cool villain figure named Hypnos, who is quite challenging to find today. Next up we have Baron Kaza from Mego's Micronauts line. The Micronauts were a line of science fiction action figures based on Takara's Microman toys from Japan, and this line was introduced to the US market by the Mego Corporation in 1976. In the comic book series and the toy line, Baron Kaza is the primary antagonist of the Micronauts, and this spectacular action figure was first released in America in 1977. This is a supremely well-engineered toy that was made from high-quality injection molded plastic components with metal joints and magnetic connectors. Baron Kaza also comes with numerous accessories, some of which can be assembled to form a jetpack, and he features some quite powerful spring-loaded weapons, with a pair of shooting fists and missiles that can be fired from his torso. The magnetic connectors allow you to remove the figure's head and limbs and swap them out with other accessories, which is a really fun concept that's made even more enjoyable when the Baron is paired up with the Star Stallion Andromeda, a toy horse that also features swappable magnetic components. Mego also released a white heroic version of this action figure called Force Commander, but Baron Kaza remained my favourite, until I forgot about him. If you enjoy the content that we create here at Analog Toys, why not take a moment to subscribe to the channel by clicking the button down there. It's free, it's easy, and it really does go a long way in helping this channel grow, which also enables us to create more high quality videos like the one you're watching right now. So do yourself a favour and subscribe now, and while you're there make sure you click the notification bell to ensure that you get notified whenever a new video drops. The Eagle One spaceship toy released by Mattel in 1976 was inspired by the British science fiction television programme Space 1999, which was a series created by Jerry Anderson, the mastermind behind several popular Supermarionation programs, such as Captain Scarlet and the Thunderbirds. While the British toy company Palitoy did produce some quite nice Mego-styled action figures, the best Space 1999 toy ever made was the Eagle One spaceship. At over 2 feet long, this mostly white spacecraft is a very large toy that was extremely well made. The cockpit and engines can be removed from the shuttle and linked together to form a smaller exploratory craft, perfect for scouting missions. The toy also comes packaged with 3 small astronaut figures that come with several miniature accessories that are next to impossible to find today. The white plastic used to manufacture the spaceship also yellows over time, making minty white examples almost as rare as those blasted astronaut accessories. Yet if you do have a complete vintage Eagle One in your collection, you've managed to rescue a forgotten 70s toy that is well worth owning. The next forgotten 70s toy that we have for you today is one that I'd never heard of until I started researching this video. Released by the Ideal Toy Corporation in 1977, Electroman was advertised as an amazing electronic sentinel who protects his friends, detects his enemies, and defeats his foes with laser-like beams of light. When in reality he was a quite silly action figure with a giant flashlight stuck on his forehead, and at 16 inches tall, Electroman was one of the heaviest and bulkiest action figures of the 1970s. The reason for his immense weight is because Electroman needed no less than 3 C-size batteries to power his laser lights and sounds. You could also use the dial on the back of the figure's neck to program Electroman to stand guard, where a motion detector would sound a warning signal. And this was pretty advanced technology for the 1970s. To combat Electroman, Ideal also issued an enemy action figure in the form of Zog the Terrible, an alien-like monster with a huge reflective sensor built into his forehead. Zog could be wheeled around until Electroman fires a beam of light at the sensor, which causes Zog to drop his arms and faceplant. In hindsight, the Terrible moniker was quite apt for both of these figures, and I'm not surprised that they've been lost to time. In 1979, the Mattel Toy Company attempted to crush the competition with our next forgotten toy. The monster that will grow on you. That was one of Mattel's marketing lines for their new Crusher toy, which stands 14 inches tall and was sold in a large box that featured some stunning packaging art. Crusher was manufactured from a flexible PVC material, and his special play feature came by way of a valve on the back of his belt that, when opened, allows air to escape so that you can crush him down into a crumpled state. If you close the valve while he's crumpled, he'll stay in that position. Yet once you open the valve, air will flow back inside his body and he will slowly regain his original shape. A sort of similar play feature was employed by Fun Stuff when they released the Incredible Hulk Rage Cage the year before Mattel came out with their new Crusher toy. Yet while the Hulk Rage Cage sold quite well, Crusher wasn't very popular and was considered a flop for Mattel when he ended up in clearance bins all across the country. Where some 1970s toys are forgotten a little, some are forgotten big. Released in the United Kingdom in 1975, Little Big Man was a sort of cheaper, smaller knockoff version of the hugely popular Action Man toy that was sold by the British toy company Palitoy. Little Big Man's creation was inspired by the commercial success of Spain's top-selling action figure range, Maidleman, and the line was introduced to the UK by Palitoy's wholesale division, Bradgate. The Little Big Man action figure was similar in style to the range of dolls being sold by Mego at the same time, and each figure came packaged with action-adventure inspired clothing and accessories. In fact, several of the sets, such as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, were directly inspired by the Action Man product range. With the introduction of Little Big Man, Palitoy were hoping to capture the attention of a consumer demographic that wanted a cheaper option to the much higher priced Action Man toys. However, the lower price point came at the sacrifice of quality. In fact, the product's quality was so inferior that the figures broke easily and the uniforms practically fell apart with minimal play. Customers were not happy and the line was cancelled after just 2 short years, leading to a forgotten toy that is only remembered by the most hardcore of fans. The final forgotten toy we have for you in today's video is JJ Arms. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've never heard of this action figure at all, because I've been collecting vintage toys for over 30 years and I've never come across him before. Released by the Ideal Toy Corporation in 1976, JJ Arms was an action figure based on a real-life detective who lost both hands in an explosion, and he wore prosthetic replacements equipped with gadgets. The main play feature of this toy was actually pretty cool, where JJ Arms could use different types of interchangeable hands for different types of missions. The figure had suction cup hands for scaling walls, hooks for sliding down ropes, and magnetic hand attachments for recovering missing munitions. The Ideal Toy Company even offered a vehicle for JJ in the form of the Mobile Investigation Unit. Yet their plans to also introduce a JJ Arms playset were cancelled before the toy made it to retail. The blend of realism and fantasy made JJ Arms a quite inspirational action figure, though his limited backstory and niche appeal meant that he didn't catch on widely. While some children enjoyed the novelty of the toy, they lacked the context to appreciate his origins, and he has since become one of the most forgotten toys of the entire decade. So that's it for this episode of Analog Toys, and remember, if you can think of other forgotten toys of the 1970s, leave us a comment in the section below, and I'll see you all in the next video.
This is Electroman, the action figure with powers of light and sound. When you put Electroman on guard, he'll sound a warning if anyone sneaks up on him.
Is it Zog? Radar on. It's Zog! You won't escape us this time. Stun ray on. Wow!
Each figure requires 3 batteries not included. Electroman comes with 2 reflector badges. Zog sold separately from Ideal.